You know it's a Bitcoin bear market when you have stablecoin FUD, and everybody and then Nan are worried about USDC collapsing right now, and the market has been crashing a little bit. I want to cover this with you, talk to you about where I think we could be going, and these are essential things that you need to be considering even if you're not looking to take positions in this market, because we need to be aware of what's going on. And the first thing that I want to highlight with you guys is just the fact that this market is now, kind of experiencing a little wave of FUD to do with USDC. If you haven't heard, it doesn't matter, obviously, to know about this stuff, but if you haven't heard, Circle, owned by Goldman Sachs, is a company that has issued USDC, and they have $3.3 out of $40 billion stuck in Silicon Valley Bank, and this is a bank that's literally just basically been shut down. And it's the second big bank actually to get shut down in the United States across like a week basically. So pretty bearish stuff. I actually just want to interject this video with a side note about how this is literally exactly the circumstance that Bitcoin was made for. Like Bitcoin has been preparing its entire life to deal with this, to deal with irresponsible banks collapsing, and to then offer a suitable alternative option being cryptocurrency. And and I've been saying this for a really long time, right? I love Bitcoin more than most people on this planet, but I've also been saying, because I'm a fucking realist, that Bitcoin has conclusively failed. Like Bitcoin has very, very clearly failed at its original objective of replacing normal traditional finance and so on. It might work later on, but so far it has failed very horribly because the banks are collapsing and Bitcoin is still dropping. So definitely something that's worth paying attention to. We're also going to go into the technical analysis in just a moment here, but I do want to cover the news with you a little bit. Let me know in the comments if you're okay with that, if you want me to continue doing stuff like that. The thing is that a lot of people are very worried about USDC just absolutely collapsing and dying, right? And if we take a look at the USDC chart right here against the US dollar, we can start to see this a little bit. We'd have to look at, I don't know, let's say the 1 hour time frame. I mean, it's a pretty big collapse, right? I mean, it kind of depends on what you're looking at, but on Binance, it fell all the way down to 32 cents, where, it should literally be at $1, right? I mean, up until basically now, it's always been at $1, because that's, because it's a stable coin. You might fluctuate very quickly, very briefly, and very little, but obviously this is quite a substantial move for USDC. And if we take a look at this again on some other, exchanges, we are seeing slightly different numbers, right? So on Kraken, it did dip very hard, but only down to 87 cents. So it's a little bit different depending on which exchange you're on. It's all very like wishy-washy data right now. I wouldn't really want to be relying on any of this data at the moment. And the reason people are scared is simply because, people have just gone and sold a lot of USDC. But what people don't actually consider is that this is a weekend, right? Today's a Saturday. This is obviously where most of the drama has happened, is, over the course of today, depending on your time zone, of course. And the thing is on Monday, we're going to see USDC potentially come back up to $1 because arbitrageurs are going to be back in the game, right? It's a Monday, it's a new week. So, everyone that blindly sold it, it depends on what you're looking at, but I think consensus is that it dropped down to about 82 cents. Everyone that sold their USDC at like 82 cents, 85 cents, I mean, you've really got to consider how much FUD Kool-Aid you're drinking, because the thing is this kind of shit has happened for a really long time. And this is the main thing I want to talk to you about just at the very beginning of this video here. USDT actually rallying because USDC is falling a little bit funny. I've always been a USDT guy. Actually, above USDT, I've been a fucking fiat guy, right? Like if you want dollars, buy some fucking dollars. Don't buy stable coins. I've been saying that for years. I've been saying that since the very beginning. Yes, I know it triggers a taxable event in most jurisdictions, but it's safety at the end of the day, right? So this is something that's really, really important. I've been saying this for a very, very long time. But that said, out of all the shit coins that are stable coins, USDT is always the one that I've said I'm most happy with, because it stood the test of time. If we look at this on the monthly time frame, this coin on Poloniex has been around since 2015. I'm pretty sure it must have been launched around then as well. Like, this coin has been around for a very long time. This is its 8th year now, 7th, 8th year that USDT has been around, and look at all the crazy shit that's happened in between, and it's never gone. I want to bring your attention to some of these events, right? Like October 2018, this is right before Bitcoin crashed from $6,000 to $3,000 in the bear market, when Bitcoin hit 20K for the first time. We had a huge depeg right here where USDT dropped down to 88 cents, but it always fucking recovers, right? I mean, like the majority, in fact, I'm sure the VPVR, I don't know if we'll see it actually, if the VPVR loads, will show us the very same thing right here, which is that, the point of control is $1, which is exactly what we expect from a stablecoin, right? Like, we do have depegs. It happens, right? And it's not supposed to happen. Let's be very clear about that. But it happens, and it doesn't actually mean anything particularly scary every single time, right? I think this is an important thing, right? The reason that people are selling Bitcoin right now and so on seems to be because of the instability in the space, right? And people are doing that because, USDC is falling, whatever. It doesn't really make a lot of sense when you think about it. It's just fear and uncertainty and doubt rife in the market at the moment. But what's really important is that these depegs happen quite a lot, and I fucking guarantee that you didn't know about any of these depegs before, right? Going back 7-8 years. It's been depegging since it's been around. Right? This is really, really normal. And actually, something I've done here is actually gone ahead and opened up Cointelegraph, just to show you something interesting, right? If we look at Cointelegraph today, it's like, a day after, half a day after Circle's drama, kind of really started to become a big problem in the space. And we've got Circle's USDC instability causes domino effect on DAI USDT stablecoin. So basically, we've got the contagion effect, right? What everyone was concerned about with FTX is that FTX collapses, FTX, owes money to a lot of people, those people also collapse, right? So it's contagion effect. It's just domino, right? Like, one thing goes wrong, and because things are like interlinked in ways that they perhaps shouldn't be, other things go wrong as well, and more people lose money. It's a genuine concern, and it makes a lot of sense, but we've seen this shit for a really, really long time. And if we take a look at this, I find this interesting, right? This is the 13th of May, 2022. And if we take a look at what happened here on this particular day back in 2022, this is May. We see a fairly big drop on USDT right here. It falls down by quite a bit. That's the 12th of May. The very next day, guys, we're seeing more we're seeing more FUD, right? We're seeing how to okay, this is something a little bit different. We're seeing broadly quite a lot of fear. Actually, not quite right here. It's only the main headline right here where we're seeing that. And if we go back one day, I'm not sure if it will actually show us. We'll probably have the USDT FUD on the front page as well. I haven't actually checked this just yet. But what we're seeing is like a very repetitive news cycle, right? Like, the news cycles are quite similar. Okay, so this is about Terra. So this is when Luna was collapsing way back. That's a long time. By the way, the all-time high, $69,000, was a year and a half ago almost. So there's something else to make you feel old today. Definitely made me feel old, and I really shouldn't be feeling that yet, but here I am. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is that these, it's always like a million different reasons that you can pluck out of the air for why the price is dropping. And if Bitcoin managed to magically spike up to $30,000 tomorrow, there would be a million reasons to say why that happened as well, right? I think this is really important that we really keep in mind, is that, like, there's always a lot of reasons we can pull at for why certain things are happening in the market. But at the end of the day, if we bring this to the TA side for just a little bit, after considering that, we're probably going to go, just like every single fucking time ever in history for major stable coins, we're probably going to go back up to that peg again. That this is probably a little bout of irrational fear and so on and so forth. USDT has seen big bad news, right? I mean, I don't know how big that news was compared to USDC in terms of significance, but USDT has seen very big scary news as well. It's always gone back to its peg, right? When we consider all of that and the fact that Bitcoin's just in a pullback, like, it almost just kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Right? We're in a situation where people are just really, really scared about, seemingly nothing, right? I mean, people selling the stable coins at 85 cents, 82 cents, for fuck's sakes, things that are supposed to be at $1. Like, it's like you sell $1 for 82 cents. It's literally like that, like you do it in real life with a paper dollar, bill. Like, it just doesn't really make sense, does it? And that's what we're seeing people do at a time where, I mean, we've seen, quite a bit of a downtrend now, right? I mean, like, from our high to our low, 22.3%. I mean, it's not absolutely insane, but it's definitely not small either. So we're we're in a crucial bounce zone. This is exactly where I told you I'd be expecting support on Bitcoin if we fail this level. Is the 19.6k level. There's a 618 retracement around here as well, and the 18.4k level as well has been an essential part of my chart for a very, very long time as well. These are important price areas that I've been looking at for a very long time, and we're finding support off them right now. We don't have the best of charts. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to try and say that this is an amazing chart that looks amazingly bullish right now, but we do still have very, very strong support below where we are right now, and we have extreme levels of fear. In fact, this hasn't updated quite yet. We did drop down to 34 and then 33 today, but we are going to see this update within 6-7 hours, and I'm sure we're going to be in extreme fear today, or at least lower than 33, hopefully in the 20s, later on today, because we've seen a big cycle of fear in this market at the moment. What's important to note is Bitcoin did lose some very important support areas, right? I covered with you, for example, the daily Ichimoku cloud. I think we're still in it, actually. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, we are just about in it. We just fell out of it. We've still got some support here. We lost other things like our moving average, support on the daily time frame, and if we zoom in, we've lost support on like 4-hour time frames right here. This is actually a bit of a problem where if Bitcoin does manage to rally up, we could definitely be expecting some resistance up here towards the end of March. So that is something that I think is worth keeping an eye on as well. Actually, middle of March. It's actually this is like 4 or 5 days away that we could be finding resistance here. So this is definitely something to be keeping an eye out for. So like I said, it's not the best of charts in the world, but again, very, very hard to refute that this is a key support area. And all of this fear is spreading on a weekend where, yes, while Circle probably is working today because there's a lot of things they need to take care of. What we are seeing probably bottom line is it's just a little bit of weekend volatility that basically needs to pause a little bit, to be quite honest with you guys. If we look at things like the dollar is still finding resistance. It's about to fall into a support area, mind you, so might be ready to bounce again at some point soon. But dollar is still in a bit of a pullback. S&P 500 is at its most critical support area on the chart, in my opinion. I've been talking to you guys about this level for a very long time. We're finally down here. If we manage to get a bounce off here, we are golden. If not, probably going to be a little bit bad. I think that if we are bearish, we still get a bounce, maybe just come up like this and then drop back down. But bottom line, I'm seeing something a little bit more like this. Actually, I'm seeing something a little bit more like this. So that's what I've been expecting for a long time. This is what I've said is like kind of the most bearish thing that could possibly happen that I'm open to, is that S&P 500 comes back down to test this area as support and then comes back up. What's really nice is that there was a confluence of this horizontal area and this diagonal sloping downward sloping resistance line, now hopefully flipping into support, because we previously found resistance here quite well. So I am going to be expecting support there, to hopefully come to light. And the thing is with things like this is, like when we're down at these levels, it never looks like we're going to bounce, right? If you look at when Bitcoin, if I just bring you to Bitcoin's chart, actually, to make a really interesting point. I'm sure many of you guys watching this channel were around back here in summer of 2021 when Bitcoin went to 64K, down to 30, and then up to 69. When Bitcoin was down here, it really didn't look like Bitcoin was going to find support, but this was a support area, and it was Bitcoin's best support area until 20,000. We knew that even back then. But when Bitcoin was actually all the way down there, it really didn't look like Bitcoin would actually manage to bounce. This is a really big deal. When we're at resistance areas, it really, especially like here, for example, even I got caught in this one and made a mistake. When we're at resistance levels, it really doesn't look like they're going to actually offer resistance, and it looks like we're going to blast straight through them. This is a really, really big deal. Like when it makes most sense for the market to reverse, which is at support areas or at resistance areas, we tend to completely lose sight of that. We tend to be most bearish at the very bottom, thinking that our literal support areas won't work. Most bullish at the very top, thinking that our literal resistance areas won't work. And then of course we find ourselves on the wrong side of it. And I think that we could be facing something similar right now with, for example, the S&P 500, finding support right now at this line, which, it seems like a lot of people are just very bearish because of tech layoffs and so on, which makes a lot of sense. But something that I want to highlight to you guys, which is really important, we're just kind of bringing a very realistic approach to the market here, is like when we've got things like tech layoffs and so on hitting the market, I'm not saying that they're done, right? Hopefully that they are done, but they're probably not. I'm not saying they are done, but when we're seeing things like tech layoffs and the corresponding price action that might happen with things like the S&P 500, we have to keep in mind that these markets try to front run everything that happens in the real world, right? Like if something happens in the real world, traders want to trade that first, right? Like if Facebook is about to lay off a bunch of employees and that's going to make the stock look bad, then I ideally want to short Facebook before that happens, right? That's just how traders are. So S&P 500 has been declining for quite a while now. If we take a look at it on this chart again, I mean, again, it's a very similar time frame to Bitcoin's all-time high. Actually, we're looking at 437 days. So again, you know, getting sort of close to you know, a year and a half, you know, since the all-time high. But you know, the tech layoffs didn't happen. It didn't start happening until a little while later, right? So the markets kind of preempt these things, and I think that's important because, you know, if the bulk of these layoffs have happened and so on and so forth, and you know, if this is the kind of point I'm trying to make is like a lot of the bad shit that could have happened has already happened. I'm not saying that there's more bad stuff that, you know, I'm not saying that the potential for bad things happening in the future is now zero, right? Many more bad things can definitely keep happening for a very, very long time. Nothing is guaranteed, and I can't see the future either. But a lot of the bad shit has already happened, and you have to ask yourself, at what point does the market at least find some sort of temporary reversal that, you know, maybe doesn't set a new all-time high, but perhaps, you know, gets fairly high, you know, lets the market trend up for 6, 8, 9 months. You know, I mean, we're talking about the S&P 500 here. We're not talking about a shitcoin that moves, you know, with crazy price action within the space of a week. Like, this moves pretty slowly, you know, especially compared to crypto. So that's an important thing to keep in mind, again, while we are down at these support levels as well. I think people are really losing sight of that right now. You know, I hope that I'm making this point clear when I look at USDT against against the real US dollar, and just show you here that on the daily time frame, even, like, we're pretty zoomed in right now. I mean, we depeg all the fucking time. It's not normal if we don't depeg. I want to make this very clear. Like, the coincidence is if we don't depeg. You know, this is a really big deal that people don't pay attention to. Like, USDC against the US dollar, if we zoom in, depegs all the time. Look at these. These are small depegs. They're not huge, but it happens, right? 99.5 cents here, 99 cents here. It's very normal to see depegs on any stablecoin. It just happens, right? It's just one of those things. If I just move the chart a little bit so we can see this a little bit better. Probably like this, and we can zoom out. We can see, like, just how, like, look at this. This is only early 2021. Like, it depegs all the fucking, it's the most normal thing ever, right? So yes, granted, we have a lot more volatility than we usually do right now, but is this really going to be the one that, you know, and again, this is a little bit exaggerated, right? Because other exchanges haven't seen, you know, such horrible, you know, depegging action, right? This is only down to 85 cents, whereas Binance's chart shows 30. You know, again, like, is this going to be the one that, you know, we see a huge collapse with? Well, you know what? It might. It very well might, but what I really want you to take away from this video is that every time these depegs hit the market before, people thought the same thing. And I'm not saying that this means, you know, this time is going to be different or that this time is going to be the same, but you know, me, I'm a guy that likes to follow the logic. I really don't give a fuck what the news headlines say. I make this a really big point on my channel. It's actually like something I'm a little bit cocky and arrogant about, because it's not like I particularly want to be or anything like that. It's just that I'm really trying to make the point that it doesn't matter. You know, these things that you're reading in the news headlines and so on, they don't matter. I made the point about this recently where I was saying that if you're reading something in the news, you're the last person to be getting this information. Like, you are the last person in the food chain to be getting this information. It's already gone through the person that's acted in the way that created the news in the first place, like the one who actually did the thing. Like, in this case, you know, Silicon Valley Bank collapsing. You know, it's already reached insiders in that space. It's already reached reporters. It's already reached editors. It's already reached friends of those people. It's already reached other insiders across the internet, and then you are the last people to be getting it in your fucking Discord servers and your Telegram channel, you know, pinged to your phone from fucking Yahoo News. Like, you are the last person to be getting that information. And yes, you are among the majority, but the majority always lose. Really big deal. You know, that's why I think that, yeah, if you just kind of put a more sensible thinking hat on at times like this, you'll start to see that, like, this is actually, like, not that big of a deal. What we are in, like, just if we focus on the facts, what we actually are in right now is a 22% pullback after a 64% rally. I'm going to keep saying this until it changes, because this is not that bad. We still haven't even come down to our Fibonacci support area. Look at this. 618 retracement sitting at 19,200 down to 18,800, 618 and 66 level right here. Very useful bounce zone historically for Bitcoin. We're not even down there yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just hard for me to be as scared as everyone else is, especially when the bears are the cockiest I've seen them in a very long time, right? Like, when bears are getting absolute, you know, just fucking hard-ons basically, because they're so excited by how the market is dropping down. When people love seeing the world burn. And especially when that's the majority, you tell me, right? Like, which side do you want to be on? Do you want to be holding everyone's hand, fucking walking around in a circle, having some temporary sunshine, or do you at least, I'm not saying like be against them, I'm not saying be a bull, but do you at least want some distance from the fucking hype? You know what I mean? Like, do you at least want some distance from the excitement? From the arrogance of traders in the market right now. That is the question that I think is worth asking at this current moment in time. Now, if we take a look at Ethereum, we are actually seeing something a little bit better here. We're seeing some better opportunities in the markets in general, I think, with altcoins at the moment. And if you do want to take advantage of that stuff, do me a favor and check out Bybit with the link down below. Now, the cool thing to note about this is that if you've already got a Bybit account, you can make a brand new one and still get the rewards that I'm talking to you about. So if you've been trading on Bybit like me for many, many years, you can make a brand new account and get the $30,000 rewards I've been talking about anyway. Never hurts to make a new account. It's almost a new start in a sense. And even if you don't want that new start, you can just get your bonus, you use it. If you fuck it up, it doesn't matter because it's free money. And if you make money with it, then amazing, because it's free money. So you can, literally what happens here is, depending on what you deposit and what you trade with, you're going to get additional cash deposited into your account for free. And you can throw that additional cash into trades. And if you make money, it's like demo money. If you make money with it, you can withdraw. OKX offering you similar things, but it's up to $20,000 here. So if you stack them both, you get 50K. And if you put Prime XBT on top of that with access to indices, commodities, and Forex, you have another $7,000 in rewards up for grabs. Very, very simple with Prime XBT as well, because all you have to do is make your deposit using my link in the description and the promo code and stuff like that. And then whatever you deposit, 7% of that comes back as a bonus. So you can trade with that as well very, very easily up to 7K. Very, very cool offers. And again, each of these apply if you've already got an account. So definitely check this out if you want some extra ammunition within your trades, or just to trade risk-free. Like, just fucking YOLO that stuff, whatever you like. It's completely up to you. But back to Ethereum here, we're seeing some better price action for Ethereum. Again, it really doesn't look that bad overall, right? I mean, it's almost a little bit less scary with Ethereum for me, because it's not even particularly worrying for Bitcoin, like I said. But with Ethereum, it's even less, because it's just not a chart that I look at as much as Bitcoin. But we are down at a critical. What have I done? That's not correct. We are down at a critical area of support right here. Definitely an important one, something that I think is worth paying attention to. And at the same time, we're also able to find a little bit of Ichimoku support here, which is absolutely great. Absolutely great. I like seeing this. Very similar to Bitcoin. It's looking fairly strong in this sense. Now, something I don't like is that we are definitely coiling up, right? I mean, this is very clearly also, some sort of a triangle pattern right here. Take a look at this. We've definitely got some sort of a triangle pattern in this market right now. And this is, it's not the best thing in the world to see, right? I mean, you want to see that. The market is not coiling up for potentially a big leg if we're already in a downtrend, right? Because that's usually what this would mean. But even for that to materialize, we would have to drop down areas of support like 1200. We would have to lose areas of support like 1000. We're quite far away from that right now. It would be quite a drop to get down there. With everything that's going wrong in the world and with crypto, one might wonder if Ethereum should already be down there. And if it's not, you might ask the question why. If things really are that bad in crypto, why it hasn't fallen down there yet. Is it that people are actually interested in buying? That's an important question. But no doubt, this chart doesn't look. This chart, when we zoom out, is not screaming confidence at the moment. It's definitely not as bearish as people think it is as well. I think, in my opinion, like, at least the way I'm seeing it, we do still have a lot of support areas, and we are just getting hit by a wave of FUD right now. And also, very important to note, we had a huge rally, right? Even Ethereum against the dollar up by about 62% from its lows right after the FTX crash. So very, very similar price action to Bitcoin. But Ethereum, like Bitcoin, also didn't really get a pullback. So we're in a pullback now. This is normal, right? I mean, when we when we trend up, we have pullbacks. It's really nothing particularly crazy to think about. But I think a lot of people do lose sight of just basics like that, especially at times like this, especially if you do have your head in news websites like Cointelegraph, which I'm not saying that they give you bad information, but anything you can read in the news is already too late. But where we are on an equal playing ground is when we look at the charts, and that's why I live here. That's why I live on TradingView, which, by the way, you can also check out got a link for everything Legends in the description. You can also check that out as well if you're interested. That's why I focus on this, because this is like, you can't really like get early and you can't see Bitcoin's price 15 minutes in the future, right? Everyone has the same information here, and so you're just more likely to I think get the information that you really want, to be honest. That's just my take on it. I'm not worried about USDC. I think that with what I've covered in this video, I've shown to you guys that this has happened many times. It doesn't mean that USDC is immune from collapsing or that anything is immune from collapsing, but it does mean that it's never happened yet. With any major stablecoin that I've ever heard of. Actually, my bad. I need to correct that. TUSD was a major stablecoin and that collapsed. So my bad. That does happen occasionally. It is a little bit different. The thing about, I don't know, I really shouldn't have to say this, but I'll say it anyway, just in case someone needs to hear this, is when you've got a stable coin that's associated with, a Ponzi, like, Luna, or even others. I'd even go as far as saying things like Binance USD. I wouldn't trust either. It's pretty obvious to me. It's Binance has a coin, being Binance coin, and just anything like that that's questionable. Like, why doesn't exchange need a coin? Stuff like that. When you've got those kind of things, then I wouldn't look at them in the first place. But when you've got stable coins like USDC, Circle, all owned by Goldman Sachs, USDT, something that isn't necessarily owned by big companies like Goldman Sachs, but that have really stood the test of time, right? USDT has gone through a lot of shit. USDT has had a lot of FUD cycles throughout its life cycle, throughout its lifetime, and they haven't collapsed, right? I think that's a big deal. It's like every single day of the week, I would choose something like USDC over Binance USD, over Binance USD. Every single day of the week, I would choose something like USDT over something like Terra USD or TUSD, whatever it's called, True USD. I forgot. It doesn't matter. They're all the fucking same. Like, I would choose, like USDT over these because they're not associated with things that I would particularly trust in the first place anyway. Right? Like, I'm not going to go out there and trust a stable coin that an exchange makes. It doesn't matter how big the exchange is and how much the exchange has dominated markets globally. I'm just not going to touch it when there are options that have stood the test of time, or that are from, companies that, are regulated in the United States, that are just more likely, in my view, to be frankly honest with you guys, and I may be wrong about this, but from my perspective, that are just more likely to be safe. I'm going to trust something that's come directly out of the United States, especially when it comes to a financial instrument, much more than I'm going to trust Binance USD. All right, I'm just putting it out there. Like, even if Bybit, my favorite exchange, even if OKX, another exchange that I absolutely love, quickly coming up there, by the way, even if them two made a stable coin, I wouldn't be interested. I might use it a little bit, but I wouldn't be interested as much as I am in others like USDT and USDC. So like I said, we've seen this stuff happen a million times before. Hasn't materialized. We're in a FUD cycle. We're down at support. We haven't seen 618 support yet. You can be scared as much as you like, but if you really just look at the facts, I'm struggling to see how this is particularly bad. I'll be, and I really have, been taking in what people have been saying, and it feels like everyone is just massively piled on the bear side right now, and I'm not saying that means that they're all wrong because they're in the same place, but what I am saying is that I always want a little bit of distance from where everybody is gathering around in a herd. It doesn't mean that, I wouldn't trade the short side or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying, but, what is absolutely essential to me is to make sure that I don't get swept away with the excitement, with the euphoria, whether it's bullish or bearish euphoria, with any of that emotional shit. That's not me. That's not what I'm interested in. So there you go. Really hope you have enjoyed this video. You know what to do if you have a little bit of a different one, especially at the beginning. I want to see if I can incorporate more news style videos on this channel in any case. Like, even though I talk about how it's quite nonsense and boring, I can at least tell you my perspective on that. It seems like you guys actually quite like that. Every time I've done that, you guys have asked for more. I'll be honest, it's not something that I care about, so that's why I never spoke about it up to this point. If you've been watching me for a very long time, you'll know that I occasionally look at stuff like news, but it's not actually that common, and it's because it just straight up doesn't matter. But I think that it's something that would be quite useful to you guys in the community, and at least at the very beginning, I would start it doing the way that I've done this video just now, where yes, a fairly big portion of the video at the beginning was focused exclusively on the news and fundamental factors, which I feel like I went through fairly well, but then the rest of the video was technical based anyway. So if you like that, if you think it's useful, then do me a favor and let me know about that in the comments. One more time, I do want to remind you about the huge offers available on Bybit. Bybit, OKX, and Prime XBT. Again, Bybit offering you up to 30k just depending on what you deposit and trade with. You can head on over to the rewards hub to get this. Once you sign up, by the way, you can even you can even download the smartphone app and then just do this stuff on your phone as well. So it's very, very easy to get. And like I said, if you already have an account, you can still make a new one and take advantage of this stuff. And that is a pretty big deal. I mean, this is free money. There's no downside whatsoever to doing this. It's only time, and it doesn't even take that much time. It takes like less than 30 seconds to sign up, and getting your rewards is also very, very quick. So check that out. OKX, once again, up to 10k in our mystery box just for registering. So very, very cool. And if you start depositing and trading, you can unlock another 10k in rewards on OKX. So really, really cool offers there. If you want to jump inside a VIP, see what's going on behind the scenes of my trading group, everything that I'm doing in real time, everything that I'm planning, everything that I'm considering, and so on and so forth, then check out these steps on screen as well. With that though, I really hope you have enjoyed this one. Hope you find it useful, more importantly, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.